Hey guys, welcome to Newswave, your place for gaming and technology news every weekday, 10 a.m. Make sure you come by and see me then. So we have a couple things to talk about today. A little slower news day, but there's some really interesting stuff, so let's just get started. First thing I wanted to talk about is really cool, especially if you're a Switch owner like myself. There's an interesting idea going on, and this is on IndieGoGo. It's a couple of people at this point who have come together, and they're attempting to design a Switch battery case that is promising some pretty significant improvements to the overall battery life. So the product is called Switch Charge Plus. A YouTube video went up describing what they're attempting to do. You're going to see it here. It looks like it actually has like a co-founder and everything, which is great. Founder, co-founder group here. But what's awesome is it looks like it actually attaches to the unit itself and provides an extra 12 hours of battery life. Now, there's a lot going into this. Particularly, they're going to have a custom PCB board fabricated, put into it, because keep in mind, a lot of chargers for the Switch have a hard time letting you play it and charge it at the same time, just because there are certain power restrictions on normal chargers or even battery banks. Well, it looks like they have designed it so it's going to provide enough power so that the system can charge while you're playing it from that battery back. And this is really great, because the one gripe that I had in my video the other day about the Switch was the battery life. I think a lot of us run into that point where we are playing and all of a sudden, boom, you know it's dropping power, it's down to 15%, it warns you, it turns red, and then it goes to sleep to try to save any data. This looks like it would be awesome. Now, I don't think it would fit in the dock with this on because it looks a little thick, obviously, but it's going to be packing a 12,000 milliamp hour battery in that little case, and it also has a spot for 2 additional game cards, which is a great idea. You might as well take advantage of that extra space. Another feature they're offering is a kickstand that also solves the issue I was dealing with, which is different angles. So you actually have a couple different angles that you can set the Switch up on and move it so that it either goes more flat or stands up farther. I like that idea. Might as well take advantage of all the extra things you can with this unit and make it more of a multi-function device rather than just adding extra battery life. I would have actually been able to use the ability to carry 2 cards in the system rather than in a separate piece that has those in my microSD cards in them. I like this idea. I love the kickstand idea. That's really a great idea to add a better kickstand to it while you're doing all this. Now, it's currently on IndieGoGo and it is being raised fast. I mean, the backers are running at this thing head on right now. It started very, very recently, and it's already up to $41,000 raised at this time of recording, and they are looking for a total investment of $80,000 for their goal. Now, their initial buy-in price right now is $75 plus shipping. That's the United States dollar, so USD. Some people are saying that might be a little too much. Now, keep in mind what's happening here. They're using a custom fabricated PCB board that's going to provide enough power to the unit so it charges and you can play it at the same time. Also have a bunch of other stuff, including, the kickstand. And overall, if you're doing this on a smaller scale, it will cost more. If this was a mass-produced item, yes, they probably could get the price down, but that's what IndieGoGo, Kickstarter, that's what all this stuff is for, is to give people the ability to speak with their wallets. If you want this, it looks like it's $75 plus shipping. It appears to be able to raise your battery life significantly. I mean, 12 hours is 4 times the amount that they do say it gets. I will say it's usually a little less with Zelda, depending on what your brightness levels are. I like this idea, and I think I'm going to buy into this. It really just needs some extra backing, and it's going to take off. I hope everything works out. Keep in mind, guys, that's the other risk you take with IndieGoGo and Kickstarter. We don't know how it's going to function until we get the unit. And keep in mind, you don't always get the unit. That was a big problem with Kickstarter and stuff. There were times where you just wouldn't get the item. So you have to be careful with where you put your money. This one, I can say, looking at it, looks pretty good. The idea is completely possible. It really is. I mean, we've seen cases on iPhones and iPads that do the same idea. This is just with the Switch. Now, I'm a little surprised they were able to figure out the whole PCB board as fast as they did so that it can charge fast enough, but if it works, it's an awesome idea. I really want to get in on this. I think I'm going to buy in for the 75 plus shipping, and then I guess I'll let you guys know what happens here, but I'm going to even contact them and see if maybe I can get an early build of it so that we can check it out here on the channel. When you know it, as soon as Ukulele finishes reviews, gets the embargo lifted, they come out, reviews all over the place, some good, some bad. A patch comes out that fixes some of the grievances that these reviewers had. There seems to be an issue recently with a lot of this stuff. Patches will come out that slowly fix the problem after launch. All reviewers can do is review what they have in front of them at the time. But it looks like Ukulele is going to attempt to fix some of the frame rate issues, for example. You also have different things like fixing game soft locks, which would be a real problem if you consider a soft lock actually crashing your game and ruining possibly your saved game. And overall, it looks like it's just a slew of performance improvements for things like various camera transitions, I assume for when you change different areas. There's also a very specific places for these performance improvements, so don't read this list completely if you want to have it a spoiler-free gameplay, because you will find out names of what appear to be late in-game areas. Hopefully reviewers do go back and check it out just to see how these change their opinions of the game, because it did seem like a couple reviews maybe were blaming frame rate for a lot of their platforming problems. And if they go back and check this out and it's better, I hope that they either adjust their score or at least explain in their description that your gameplay may vary from what they reviewed. And what seems to be Microsoft further bidding their farewell to the Kinect support, they have now dropped the free USB converter that you would get if you get an Xbox One S to let it hook the Kinect up to that system. Now, if you're out of the loop, the Xbox One S doesn't technically have a Kinect plug on it. They just opted to completely omit that, mostly because the Kinect just wasn't doing it for them, I guess. I mean, they ran into the same problem with the 360. I'm not really sure why they thought the Xbox One would be that much different with the Kinect, where towards the end of the lifespan, or at least halfway through for the Kinect, it started to really fall off to the point where people just didn't want to use it. And it looks like it's the same way with the Xbox One now, to the point where they are not even going to provide you with a free adapter, despite them creating the Kinect and selling it to earlier adopters. But what you'd be able to do is, as long as you could prove that you purchased the Xbox One S from a retailer, usually with a receipt, and then you fill out a registration with a serial number, they would then mail you a free adapter that would convert it essentially to like the USB ports on the back, and bam, you're off with your Kinect. And the promotion's now over, but don't worry, you can still get that same adapter for the very low price of $39.99. Yes, that's right, your Kinect, which is about $100. The adapter, which is $40, so your Kinect would cost you $140 at that point if you have an Xbox One S for it. I assume at this point Microsoft just knows that most people are not buying the Kinect outright anymore if they don't already have one, so why bother send an adapter out if you buy an Xbox One S? And if you've been looking forward to Quake Champions, much like I have and anyone else who loved Quake back in the day, the beta is happening. They have a date for it and everything, and it's coming up a little faster than you might think. You might be asking when it comes out. Today. The closed beta starts today, April 6th, so if you're not signed up, go over to our website, get signed up, try to get into this beta, and just see if it's any good. I really hope it's like old school Quake, kind of, just with a new, obviously like a next-gen feel to it, but keep that same feel to Quake, because that was so much fun playing online with Quake way back in the day. A lot of people didn't, but I had a really good time with that game online, and I hope they still get that same feel, but obviously updated mechanics and visuals for the more current shooter. And we've talked about Lego City Undercover quite a bit now. Well, it turns out, even though we all thought it would be 720p with 30 frames, it's actually 1080p native with 30 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch. I think this caught a lot of people off guard, considering we were almost positive it would stay at that 720p resolution that the Wii U had, but it was confirmed over with IGN, and then a couple other people started attempting to pull video from it and match it up, and yeah, it matches up at 1080p, 30 frames per second on the Switch in dock mode, 720p in handheld mode, which makes sense. That's just what they're all going to be in handheld mode, unless it has to drop resolution and then dynamically scale back up. But it's great to see it is at that 1080p resolution. However, they did say the frame rate, while it's supposed to be 30, does dip to 20 to 25 at times, but it's certainly not anything crazy. It really, a lot of people like to blow it out of proportion. It's like when a ton of stuff's going on the screen that it then drops below that 30 frames. It's a fun game. Load times are a little long. Other than that, though, it's a really cool adventure to have if you missed it out on the Wii U. And the last bit of news today comes courtesy of Sega and Puyo Puyo Tetris, and it is blowing my mind right now what is happening. We saw what happened with Persona, and that was, I thought, Atlus. Of course, Sega is right there with them, partnered, or they own them. There is a business relationship there between Atlus and Sega. I think Sega owns them, but either way, we thought at that point, oh, Atlus is stopping streamers from streaming Persona 5 because they don't want it spoiled. And I could at least connect the dots and say, okay, that makes sense. Well, now that we see Puyo Puyo Tetris having the same issue, I'm a little concerned as what's going on here. So this is over on their Sega Japan site for this game, and these rules were established April 4th, 2017, and from what I can tell, it is for the Japanese market for this game right now. I don't know if they've run into issues or something. And I'm almost positive if it's established there, it's going to follow the game over here to the west, and it's going to make people really mad. So this is on their site. You can look down from here. You'll see it here. It says a bunch of stuff about they don't want you to post it if you're going to make profit on it. The only way you can post it is if it's like a non-profit blog, a homepage, or a Twitter, which to me says that they don't want big game sites to post this, because every big game site like IGN or Polygon or Quadruple, they have ads playing. So they're going to make money on that video. And I'm a little confused as to what they mean here, because if they mean you cannot put it on like YouTube with ads without this watermark, or just not at all, that's kind of bad. But if they then let IGN do it and Polygon, that's really bad. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to stream this game or just play online and then stream that over the internet so that their viewers can see them playing. Because that seems like a really fun party game with enough people together. Could actually turn into some really fun and really funny stuff happening on screen. And streamers love that kind of stuff. Their audience loves that kind of stuff. And it's super weird of Sega, who is completely fine, and I really is completely fine with people taking Sonic and making fan games out of him, but they're getting frustrated with people streaming these games. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't think they're ever going to explain themselves on this, and if it comes over to the West, people are not going to be happy. I hope this is just not enforced, and it's just something they put up just to try to, I guess, maybe back people off from doing it too much. And I did see that Giant Bomb put something up on their website, and it's still up. So I assume this is not being heavily enforced because Giant Bomb has ads on their site and they're trying to make money essentially from using this footage. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. This is it doesn't feel like Sega. It's weird. Like I said, Sega has no problem with fan games, but all of a sudden they have a problem with sharing video footage of their video games, which is free advertising. And Puyo Puyo Tetris is an awesome game. I've seen so much gameplay of it. I played it at the event for the Nintendo Switch. You can get it now on the Japanese marketplace if you want. I'm just waiting for it to come over here. But it's a really fun game, and I think that would actually benefit from people seeing it played. I mean, what story would be spoiled? I mean, I'm sure there's like a little campaign or something going on there, and it was a lot of fun, and it's probably funny, but I don't think it's going to be anything deal-breaking, and that is a game you want to get and play against other people. You don't want to... Someone playing in front of you is not going to ruin the experience when it's your turn to go buy it. In fact, this game is going to fly under the radar, and it really needs, I think, this video footage or free advertising on YouTube and Twitch. So Sega, you need to get this together, because it does not feel like you. That's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you think about anything we talked about today. Maybe you're excited for that Switch battery case. I'm gonna do some more research on it and just check the guys out to make sure everything's cool. But I am very excited to have a much longer battery life for my Switch. That is the one gripe that looks to be extinguished if this comes out and is great. Let me know what you think about Yooka Laylee. Maybe you've played it already. I have not. I really want to play it. It looks good. Also, let me know what you think about this Puyo Puyo Tetris thing. I just think it's odd. I think they could really use that free promotion. That's it for now, guys. I will see you next time.